Friend, are you considering ditching your 9 to 5 grind to become your own boss as a solopreneur? Oh, it sounds very tempting to a lot of people, but being a one-person show is not for everyone. In today's video, we are going to discuss all the pros and cons of being a solopreneur so you can decide if it is the right fit for you, from flexibility and autonomy to isolation and overwhelm. We are going to cover it all so that you have all the information you need before you make the leap. The first pro that we are going to discuss is one that was really important to me when I decided to become a solopreneur, and that is freedom and flexibility. You get to set your own schedule, choose the projects that you work on, choose the people that you work with, choose your clients, and depending on the business you start, you can work from anywhere. This, along with the next pro, is what made me make the decision to start my own business as a solopreneur. And that second pro is that you have full control. Oh, this was glorious for me. You make all the decisions without needing anyone's permission, especially a boss's permission. You don't need a consensus. You're not dealing with partners. You own all the decisions in your business. The next pro is higher earnings potential. So when you're a solopreneur, you choose how you make money. And if you're smart about the business you set up, you will start a business that is scalable and can accommodate multiple streams of income. Now, another great pro is personal growth. You get to develop diverse skills while you're running your business. You learn about marketing and finance and customer service. And for me, I do a ton of writing. So I'm doing copywriting all day long and social media management. All of those things are interesting to me, and I am learning and growing every single day. And if you're someone who really wants to start their own business, I always tell people to look at being a solopreneur, especially if they're considering a brick and mortar business. Now, this is just my preference. Brick and mortar businesses cost a lot to start. You're taking a huge risk. And if you've watched my previous videos, you know that I am risk averse and I like to start businesses and help people build businesses that are low to no risk. So many solopreneur businesses have low overhead, meaning that you have minimal startup costs compared to a traditional business. The last pro that I'm going to discuss is one that's really important to me, and it's being creative. When I was burned out at my job, one of the things that I missed was being creative. I was using zero of my creative juices, and they were drying up. And by nature of who I am, I'm just a creative person. So every day I'm using my creativity to create things for my business and for my clients. Okay, those are the pros, but things aren't all rosy. For every positive, there's going to be a negative. So let's look at some of the cons of being a solopreneur. The number one con is isolation. You are working by yourself, and that can feel lonely. I'm even an introvert, and sometimes I feel a little lonely working by myself, even though I'm happy most days working all day long by myself. But when you're working in isolation, you don't have a team for brainstorming or bouncing ideas off of or for support. So it's really important that you find a community. And I want to invite you to join Connect Collective because we talk about all things solopreneurship and burnout recovery, starting businesses without burning out. You can sign up to my weekly newsletter, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and you can join me on my other social media platforms. All of the links are in the description below. Another con is workload overwhelm. As a solopreneur, you handle everything. You are the marketer, you handle accounting, client relationship management, client acquisition, and all of this can lead to burnout, especially if you are prone to burnout. And just a little side note here, if you are in your 9 to 5 and want to be a solopreneur and you're burned out at your 9 to 5, that stuff can follow you right to your solo job. But remember, I experienced burnout in a large way, so I teach you how to start a solo business intelligently without burning out again. The next con is financial risks. When you are a solopreneur, you do not have a steady paycheck, at least at first. Income can be unpredictable. And this is why I suggest that most people start a business while they have a job. And yes, you can do it all, have your 9 to 5 and start your solo business without burning out. I'll link a video that I just released a couple of days ago that is going to give you 5 things, I think it's 5 things that you need to be doing if you're suffering burnout to start recovering from it, especially before you start your own business. Another con is limited scalability. Growth can be capped by your time and energy unless you set up your business to accommodate multiple streams of income. And multiple streams of income would be things like selling digital products or affiliate marketing. And a big one that keeps a lot of people from starting their own business is no benefits. You don't have that employer provided insurance or paid vacation or that contribution match to your 401k. However, I will say that this can be mitigated if you start your business while you have a job and make sure you build the business first. I know a lot of solopreneurs who love to do what they're doing, but they struggle with not having those benefits and not having that steady paycheck. But none of them have multiple streams of income built as a part of their job, of their solopreneur business. So I'm going to give you some questions that you can ask yourself to determine whether or not you think solopreneurship is right for you. And the first question is probably the most important one, and that is, are you self-disciplined? Can you stay motivated and on task without a boss? This is so important. This is your whole business. But I will say that self-discipline can be developed. Second question, do you enjoy wearing multiple hats? Are you ready to handle marketing and sales and operations and? You can do this if you schedule and plan appropriately. Next question, can you handle financial uncertainty? Are you ready for that irregular income until you build steady streams of income in your business, until you build up those multiple streams? And you don't just prepare financially for that, you need to prepare mentally for it. Remember, you are conditioned to get a paycheck every 2 weeks or so. You have to rewire your brain. Next question, do you have a marketable skill or niche? Is there a demand for your service or product? Big caveat here, this can be learned, and there are endless niches. So if you don't have an idea, don't shut down the dream of being a solopreneur. Final question, are you comfortable working alone? Can you be productive and problem solve without having a team around you? So those are the questions to ask yourself as a little mental checklist to see if you are ready to be a solopreneur. So did you say no to 2 or more of those questions? If so, then being a solopreneur might be a little tough, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. All those things can be learned. Now, I want to give you a few tips to help you succeed as a solopreneur. The first tip is to build a financial buffer. This is so important, and people do not prepare appropriately for this. You need to build a buffer you feel comfortable with before you break away from your job. And however much money you think you need, double it. If you think you need 3 months worth of living expenses, then you need at least 6 months worth. And honestly, I would say have 9 months to a year. And you can do that by taking the money that you're making from your side hustle and saving all of that. You can do that by cutting costs like my husband and I did. It's possible. Don't let some little block keep you from your dream. You can do this. The next tip is to leverage technology. Use technology to streamline tasks. Now, I'm creating content all day long, and I use things like Canva to make my thumbnails and to create carousels for my various social media platforms. I use Riverside. I'm using Riverside right now to record this video. I use CapCut to edit my videos and vidIQ to help me find keywords and to optimize my videos. So all these tools help me create content and post it across multiple platforms. And you can use the free version of so many of these. You don't have to put extra money into those things, especially when you're starting out. Start free. Next tip is to network strategically. Join online communities or attend events to combat the isolation you feel from working at home by yourself, and also to find potential clients. The next tip is to set boundaries. Create a schedule that you can stick to avoid burnout and to maintain work-life balance. And I'm going to warn you right now that if you're experiencing burnout at your 9 to 5, setting boundaries is going to be difficult for you. A big part of the reason you have burnout is because you're not setting boundaries. And I will link a video on setting boundaries at work down in the description below. If that's an issue you're having, please watch it. I think it'll help you. And then finally, test the waters. Start part-time, and then that reduces your risk before you go full-time. And the final tip is to subscribe to this channel. Building solid solo businesses while avoiding burnout is what Connect Collective is all about. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video. So just to recap, solopreneurship has so many wonderful pros like time freedom and growth, but it requires discipline, resilience, and a lot of planning. Go through those questions to help yourself decide whether solopreneurship is for you. Again, I'll put them in the description below so you can review them or go back and watch it in the video. So let me know in the comments, are you considering going solo or have you already started? Share your story with me. And if you're still undecided, why? Now, if you're ready to start planning your solo business but need a little support, I have the perfect video for you where I break it all down, and I'm going to link it right here. So click on that video and I'll see you in the next one.